Welcome to the podcast Studio Steen, Inspiring Leadership. I learned in my life the importance of being inspired by others and to be surrounded by people who bring you new insights and perspectives. That is the way to grow as a leader and human being in challenging and changing times. In these podcast series, I bring you the latest innovations on personal development and leadership told from business managers, CEOs, spiritual leaders, and people who live their true story. I am your host, Stijn Staes, executive coach and absolutely addicted to podcast making. Today, my guest is Henk Fransen. And Henk, I'm very pleased to have you on my show today. And you're from Holland, aren't you? Which place in Holland are you?
I'm living in Arnhem.
Arnhem, that is north of Holland?
It's in the Middle East.
In the Middle East. Well, it's all the same. It's Holland is Holland, or the Netherlands.
It's where the River Rhine enters our country, and it's exactly in the middle on the east border.
Yeah, good. Well, thank you for being in our show, and let me give a small introduction, Henk, because Henk graduated as a doctor in 1985 and worked in hospitals in India and Africa. And in the years that followed, he studied many alternative medicines and the self-healing capacity of people. He also conducted extensive research into the essence of so-called spontaneous healings. He summarized his work at that time with the following sentence: "I stand for one medicine, namely medicine that combines the best of all forms of medicine at the service of patient and human being." And so, due to what was happening in the world in the recent years, Henk realizes more than ever that it is impossible for us to remain healthy in a society in which fear, coercion, and control win it out over humanity. In his work, he focuses on the importance of building a healthy relationship with the fantastically beautiful planet on which we temporarily reside. That is why he transformed his work from sick to healthy, from treatment to prevention, from self-healing to increasing your frequency for the highest good of all living things. He is pioneering in this field of medicine and view on life in general. And what is important to say as well is that since 2016, he is officially not a doctor anymore. He voluntarily unsubscribed himself from the register so he can speak his full truth. And Henk gives workshops and lectures all over Holland. And in this podcast, we will elaborate why it is so important for leaders or human beings and all kinds to be conscious about the state of the world we are in, what we can do about it for leaders and for human beings, and what kinds of changes that requires in ourselves, what kind of transformation we have to go through. Because I've seen a lot of your videos, Henk, and the models that you propose on transformation, inner transformation as a human being are really inspiring. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for the invitation.
So maybe you can tell us to start, you can tell us a little bit more about yourself. How did you become a doctor? Why did you choose that profession originally? What was the reason?
That's an interesting question. I don't have a really good answer on it. But I come from a family which was really orientated on scientific research, nature, mathematics. But all the children in our family, they made a big change to more the social. And my brother, who is 4 years older, he started studying medicine, and he was a big example for me. So I followed him. At the same time, my father had cancer. So I think that also played part in the choice. But on a deeper level, I think everybody is guided from within in a way that we are guided by our energy, by what gives us life, what makes us enthusiastic, what fascinates us, about which we are enthusiastic. So I think so everybody's life path follows these lines that we might be distracted in many ways and having the feeling we have to do this, we have to do that. But
Mm,
underneath, life always um, will be heard that we want to live, we want to follow what makes us alive,
mm,
what really fascinates us. And for me, during the study, that was self-healing. I was so fascinated about this inner strength, this inner wisdom, this inner intelligence that wants to heal, wants to
mm,
balance everything.
mm. Would you say that your choice for your studies as a doctor was not a true choice? It was more a choice from society or from your family, not your inner voice?
I think in the beginning it was, I was not aware why I really went that direction.
Mm,
I wanted to become a doctor. I wanted to follow my brother. Somehow it interested me, but during my path, I became more and more conscious that this self-healing
yeah.
mechanism was what fascinated me.
Mm. And what is for you the term self-healing? Maybe we can start to elaborate a little bit. So, what is the concept of self-healing? Because for me, it is like, when you cut yourself, even on a physical level, you cut yourself, and actually you don't have to do a lot, the body heals itself.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know if you have seen the film the octopus or something, where there is an octopus and they cut off one of his arms, or there's a shark that bites off one of his arms, and he just goes back into a little cave, the octopus, and it just goes back. He just stay there for 1 week, 2 weeks, and the one arm of the octopus just grows back. Is that what you understand out of self-healing, or is there much more than that?
I often use this example that you give on the bodily level, and it's so obvious that if we have a wound, it heals itself.
Mm,
And we easily look over it, eh?
mm,
But it's a miracle what's happened there. Millions of miracles, in fact. And in this way, I um, developed a model of self-healing on 5 levels, starting with the body, then looking at our emotions, our
mm,
thoughts, and our relationships and our spirit.
mm.
And as a doctor, I was trained to look at the body. So
Yeah.
I started and developed this model in this way. But now, so many years later, I would start with the spiritual level, with the spirit. And
Mm,
when I studied you and your work, your podcast, I saw this word, inspirational leadership.
mm.
And I felt such a strong connection with what we are talking about now, because in inspirational, there's the word spirit.
Yeah.
That the spirit comes
Mm,
in the body. That's where it starts. And there in Holland, there's such a beautiful saying that when the spirit leaves the body in a few hours, it's dead, it's dark, nothing works anymore.
mm,
So when the spirit is not there, life is dead. But if the spirit is entering into the body, that's life. And this is the essence of self-healing.
mhm,
When the spirit is a little bit in the body, there are millions of miracles every second in any cell of your body. But if the spirit fully enters the body, we are inspirited. Eh? We are, how do you say that? The soul really is there. We live
mm,
our blueprint. And this is a very important secret of self-healing. I have seen many spontaneous healings in my clients. And what what's really the essence of this is that these people found their own soul and start living it without compromise, not
Mm,
being fearful of going to die, but they really went into this in the moment. And this is such a power for self-healing.
mm. So, what is it that makes us like separated from that feeling of that we cannot fully accept what the spirit is saying us? What yeah, what is that?
Yeah, I think
How come you're so separated?
it has a lot to do with our upbringing,
Mm,
our school system, which really does not put this in the front. It
mm,
does not put this number one. But if we talk about it like we just did, it's so clear that it is number one. But
mm,
we are distracted. That's how I started the model on the physical level.
mm,
Um, but that's only where we see at the surface what the spirit is bringing.
mm. So would you go that far that when the body is sick, physically sick, we are not connected with our spirits? Or how does
Yeah,
that work then?
yeah. The spirit is blocked more
Mm,
or less. If it's fully blocked, you're dead.
yeah.
It's a little bit blocked. You live less, are
Mm,
less alive. And if you know the themes of the body is a beautiful instrument for the soul to express itself. Every organ is an aspect of the soul through which it can express itself in the world. If you know these themes, the meaning of the organs, and you see where someone is blocked, you can almost predict which organ will get sick, will have at least dis-ease. Huh?
mm. Wow. So let's say I have pain in my liver, for example, to make it or no, let's take another example because a lot of my audience they have management positions and they strike a lot of either back pain or lower back pain or in the shoulders. Could you just elaborate what could that mean? Where does that spirit blocks then?
Yeah, if there's a heavy weight on us, we have these sayings in Holland that
Mm,
you are loaded on your back. Eh?
mm,
So that's something that puts pressure on us, which can, in the course of years, have consequences. And it's all always in a balance with how strong is your back. If you have a sensitive back, maybe a kind of weak back, you cannot have so much weight.
mm.
If you have a strong backbone, you have a lot of self-worth. You can have many weights on your back and still be able to go along. Eh?
Mm. So it is it then a question of really knowing your body, what it can handle, what it can deal with, and just feel how spirits resonates with that?
When I was a doctor, I often said, we know how to use the television,
Mm,
your mobile phone. There are instructions how to use them, and we know them. But our body is the most important, what we have, instrument to express ourselves. And we do not learn the instructions how to use the body. It should be a main subject on school.
mm,
It should something that, like if you have this children book, they tell all kind of stories, But there should be some children books that tell the story about the body, the organs, how
Okay.
we can
Yeah.
take care of it. Then it would be more normal in our daily life uh,
Mm.
to be aware of this. But if you look at it from a helicopter view, the soul comes to the earth, incarnates on earth in a body. The spirit incarnates in the body. And all traditions tell that man is free as long as he does not harm others. So we are free. If we don't have a lot of weights, distractions on us, a child naturally um, follows its interest,
Mm.
its inspiration, what fascinates, what brings this child alive. If we facilitate this as parents, this child learns everything on its path because in this high energy, this being enthusiastic about things, there's such a beauty in the word enthusiastic. It it consists of en and theos.
Mm.
Theos means God. So if you are enthusiastic, you can follow your path of enthusiasm, of what really fascinates you. You are God in action. You express your unique light on earth. Then you learn everything on the way. We do not need so much schooling. If we are interested in a subject, we go naturally deep into it, and
Mm.
we take everything in as a sponge. And from our experience, there naturally evolves wisdom, experience, um, our unique perspective on this. And
Mm.
then we develop our talents, and we naturally want to share them with society. So an inspirational leader um, may give more attention on his own spirit, what
Mm.
he's enthusiastic about, how he can develop in this way, and then facilitate this um, with his employees, or
Mm.
better, every human being that he
Yeah.
encounters, he should facilitate this dynamic. So everybody can give his talents, can develop in a natural way, enthusiastic, alive, with not so much burnout. And it's so different from the society we live
Mm.
in which there's so much focus on um, consumption,
Yeah.
on commercial. It's not meant that way.
Yeah.
That's
And
not what we see in the body.
no.
The body is, to me, is an tested, how do you say it in Dutch? I always say an evolutionair beproefd concept. How would you say that?
An evolutionary challenged concept.
Yeah, that's the body. And
Mm.
it's an organism of cells. And you could say a business is an organism, an organization of human beings.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
if we look at the body, every cell brings a blueprint, brings a blueprint to the whole. And
Mm.
every cell does that, nothing else. And if every cell does that, the human body is a walking miracle of life.
Mm.
We cannot understand this, but for every cell, everything is there in abundance, what's needed. But not any cell asks money for what he does.
No.
No, what he does is its fulfillment itself.
Mm.
And an organization could use the body as a blueprint of how it's meant. For me, the body as a doctor is a living Bible. If we listen to the body, we can learn so much about life and how it's meant to be. So an organization uh, should give a lot of space to
Yeah.
every employee to live its blueprint, its talents, to
Yeah.
develop in a natural way through the lines of enthusiasm. And then we get real abundance in an organization. Everybody is happy. Everybody is alive to share its
Mm.
gifts.
Yeah.
And yeah,
That's a beautiful comparison because it's what often lack in organizations is we don't allow to be enthusiastic anymore. You know, when you're enthusiastic, it's like you're not professional.
yeah,
You know, it's then you're making fun out of things while you're just enjoying yourself.
yeah,
And that's what I often see, what I experience myself when you're too enthusiastic, which I think you cannot be too, but in the real kind of like you describe it, not the Facebook consumptive or the enthusiasm. You you cannot be not you cannot be not enough enthusiastic. The
yeah.
more enthusiastic people get, the more vivid the organization get, I think.
Yeah, but in many subtle ways, we are
Yeah,
disconnected from this
yeah,
because a child from nature is so alive.
yeah,
It's often, especially if you have more children, it's too much for the parents.
yeah.
The parents are not so alive. They live with what has to be done, etc.,
Mm,
etc., etc. The children are too alive, so we are put down.
yeah,
I know that from my own children, we have really naturally brought them up, and sometimes I could not stand it. I wanted to go to sleep, and they were still so alive, doing what they liked. But then we are disconnected from this in many ways, and at
yeah,
school, this aliveness goes through the body, but we have to sit still on our
yeah.
chair and we have to learn things that do not interest us so much at that time. And the body gives many impulses to come alive, what you want to do, how you want to live. But it's not possible in our school system. So, in
Mm,
many ways, we are not aware about how dead we are. How dead, if you
wow.
look at people's faces, how they walk on the street, it's so rigid, it's so dead,
Yeah.
really.
It's sad in a way
People, if
when you
people are
describe it like that.
enthusiastic, you see God, you see
Mm,
the light in their eyes. They are
yeah.
alive. They get energy in doing these things.
Mm,
They can go on the whole day, and if they wake up in the morning, they want to start that again because they like it.
mm, beautiful.
It will not be as efficient as we know and we think that things should be. But in this, what we call efficiency, in this consumption, in the commercializing, we have brought the earth to the brink of um, disaster. We
Mm,
have we have done so bad things to the earth, to nature, to the animals, and we call that efficiency.
mm,
But the real efficiency is being alive, that we are
mm.
alive, and then we need so little. We don't need all this consumption, and this consumption has to become more and more and more because the money system is based on what is rente in English?
Um, wait,
Interest, eh? Yeah,
uh,
it's based on
oh,
interest.
so yeah, an
Yeah.
interest. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Based on interest. And this is a guilt that it's not really there. And we have to work and we have to work and we have to work. And it has to grow all the time to bring up the interest, which is
mm,
just pure fiction. And it's packaged in a beautiful story of endless economic growth. But
mm,
if you look, it does not work this way in nature. It does not work this way in the body. It is not meant this way.
mm. Would you say we live in a world full of illusions?
Of what?
Of illusions.
Yeah, we've created a lot of stories and fiction that if we sit together and we look at it, it's very easy to see that it's bullshit.
Mm,
And it doesn't serve the human being. It does serve a kind of system and people in power. In a way, I think we should stop this.
mm. Maybe go back to the model of where the five levels where you describe the body and the spirit. What are the levels in between and how do they work?
Yeah, yeah. What I say that it's the physical level, the material level, the body.
Hmm.
It's the emotional level. It's the thoughts, the mental level, the relationships, the social level, and then the spirit, the spiritual
Mm,
level. And the body, as I look at it now as a doctor, we can do very simple things to support the body in self-healing, and that's take good care of it. That
mm,
means take good food. All the people are very aware of what kind of petrol they have to put in their car. Put
mm.
the wrong petrol and your car doesn't drive anymore. Eh?
Yeah,
But we
absolutely.
don't take care about what we put in our body. And it's so important. Like the food are like the building stones with which the body is built, like a building, like a
Mm,
house.
yeah.
If we have bad ingredients to build a house, it's not very strong.
Mm,
And the body is a house that is constantly rebuilt with the ingredients that we
yeah.
give it, we nourish it with. But very important on the physical level is rhythm. People often don't know that, but it's rhythm, it's action, and then it's rest, it's relaxation. The whole universe, if you look at it from the alternative medicine, has
Mm,
always this rhythm of action and then rest. We see that in small and we see that in big. If you see it in a year, you have this action in autumn and in summer, and then
mm,
the whole nature goes to rest in autumn and completely in winter to come back next
yeah.
year. We see it on a day, like during the day we are active, during the night we sleep, we rest. And then during the day we have working hours that must be alternated with rest. And
Mm,
then we see it on micro level in the breath. The in-breath is the action, is the mobilization of energy. The out-breath is relaxation. And in the relaxation, people do not know, but the whole body is regenerated. Like in the letting go, the body's wisdom starts to excrete all the toxins from the cell. In the in breath, it gets its ingredients, its nourishments, its
mm,
oxygen. Eh? And what I see, we live in a society where people are constantly in the in breath, but we do not value the out breath, the relaxation. If you look at the body and the breathing, you see it's impossible. It's impossible for the body to do. It has to be an even in breath and out breath. But we as human beings in our society, we want to breathe in, breathe in, breathe in,
Mm.
action, action. We work, work, work. And I see people so in this active state that we as doctors, we can measure the relaxation of the body on the heartbeat. It's heart coherence.
Heart coherence,
We
yeah.
had little small instruments to put on the chest so we could, on a distance, read on the computer how this heart is relaxed or not. And
Mm.
then we see in 24 hours that many, many people in the business world, they cannot even relax during sleep.
Mm.
During the day, there's never, even if they are doing nothing, they are not relaxed anymore. The
Mm.
out breath is not complete. They live high in their breathing. And during sleep, we see that many hours after going to sleep, then the body is capable of touching deeper levels of relaxation. For some people, not at all. They wake up tired. If you
Mm.
then know that this is the time that the body is regenerating, that it's getting its new life force, energy for the next day, that it excretes toxins, that it completely rebuilds the body. All these things are not possible anymore in our society. And still we want to consume more, we want to produce more. And nature is really suffering from it. But we ourselves are nature. We suffer from this deeply, deeply. And this, an inspirational leader, should take care for its people,
Mm.
that there is a beautiful balance between action and relaxation. We should
Mm.
stop this only in breath, consuming, producing, acting. We are human beings, not
Mm.
human
Yes.
actions.
Mm.
Yeah, so
Beautiful.
important. But this is
Yes.
only on the body level, what we can learn from the body. And we have touched this breathing, and it's so much more important than the food. Food is very important, but drinking enough water, we can do a month without food, but we can only do some days without water, and we
Mm.
can do only a few minutes without oxygen. So this breathing shows how important this mechanism is. And then you have sunlight.
Mm.
Sunlight is the light is the spirit itself. Light, everything in the universe is alive with light. Everything that's alive emits light. We are light beings. We emit, science shows that we emit light,
Mm.
biophotons. And this can only happen if we have enough relaxation. Eh? But it is nourished by the light in our food, fresh food. It is greatly nourished by our breathing with the oxygen. All kind of old tradition says we breathe a kind of quantum energy, what we call in other traditions in the East, prana or chi
Mm.
or ki, the life force itself. In the West, we call it the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So with the breathing, we breathe this light, which replenishes us. Eh? But also sunlight is very important. And we are made afraid of sunlight, but there are so many scientific studies that show the importance of light for health.
Mm.
To be outside, not the whole day in a
Yes.
building, not wearing sunglasses, but the light that falls in the eyes. The eyes are, are brains. We can
Mm.
touch the brains at the back of our eyes. The
Yeah.
retina is narrow is brain tissue. If the
Mm,
light comes there, just behind, we have some hormonal organs like the
mhm.
hypophyse and the hypothalamus. I
Yeah.
hope I say it well.
Yeah, that's the same words in
They
English.
they tell the whole body, all the cells, how to function. They
Mm,
should be charged with light, and that happens through the eyes, through the
mm.
breath. So
Yeah.
that's on the physical level. We can do very simple things to support the body that it heals itself, like the skin is healed when it's
Mhm.
scratched.
Wow, this is really an invitation for the audience to really be aware about their body, what they're taking in, what's happening to the body, how they are taking care for their body. Because what you put in, you get out,
Yeah,
or not. If you don't put in sunlight, you will not shine.
right,
If you don't put in a good breath, you will not breathe.
right.
It's beautiful. When was it in your career, Hank, that you realized this completely more holistic approach of a human being? When did that change for you?
I became aware of it when I had to study only material things.
Mm,
Then I became aware, hey, that's not enough. A human
mm,
being is more. It's not a machine that we can repair from the outside. There's also someone in with
mm,
feelings, with thoughts, relationships, so important, and spirit. If you look at the feelings, there are some communication systems, like the nonviolent communication, that
mm,
tells that emotions are signs to what we really need. So if I need respect and I'm violated in that, I can become angry. And if I listen to this anger, I feel violated in my self-worth. And then I can communicate on a deeper level and tell the people around, I feel violated if you behave like this. This is what
mm,
I need. So emotions, they sign to needs. Another example, if something is taken from me, it's stolen, I can be sad. If I feel this sadness, I really feel that how painful it is to steal.
mm,
To that's not right. So this brings me into contact with the need for justice, and I can
mm,
communicate that. And then the emotions become an instrument to go to a society that really honors um, worth, values.
mm,
Now, the deepest value is self-expression and contribution. If these two are honored, people are naturally not having emotions, but they feel love, they feel connected. Their heart overflows from joy to share. So if the emotions and the needs underneath are fulfilled, people naturally don't have emotions, but they are overflowing with beautiful feelings of joy, of love, of sharing, etc. And the deepest needs are self-expression and contribution. So an
mm,
inspirational leader should take care that his own deeper needs are honored. And then also from the employees, the people
yeah,
around, the family, etc. A real
mm,
inspirational man should take care that this is honored in society.
mm. I like what you say about the expression of our emotions, um, because um, we have, or a lot of us have learned not to express our emotions, so we cannot commit to our needs. And so we can, if we don't commit to our needs, we cannot express them and we cannot contribute.
Yeah.
So the expression of the emotion that comes from a certain feeling in the body, if I understand it well. Um,
But it's important that we
yeah.
do not focus on expressing the emotions.
Mm,
Emotions have to be accepted in your upbringing so you can relax in them and you can
yeah.
feel underneath what the need is, and that should be expressed. Because
Okay. Yeah.
expressing anger is endless.
Yeah.
If you do not connect with the need underneath, if you
Mm,
connect with the need underneath, you can relax, then you can, in a constructive way, communicate what's really necessary
yeah.
for peace.
Yeah.
Peace in the company, peace in
Mm,
the family, peace in the society.
mm,
So it's important that we accept the emotions so we can relax in them and we can get the sign. But
mm,
expressing the emotions is endless. If we
yeah.
express the need, the emotions go away naturally.
Mm. Oh, well, this is okay. Well, because this is I recognize a lot of the violent communication terms that you're using. Is this what you're telling us? Just not to shout or to, but recognize and accept that you're angry, and but sometimes your body is so that you need
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
to
yeah. If
scream, or that you want
yeah,
to, of course you express it without bringing harm to nature or to another being, but sometimes we're
yeah,
so tense that the anger or the sadness is completely in our body. So how do we deal with that?
yeah. If our upbringing was not natural in this way, tension builds.
Mm,
Tension we have seen is blocking the regeneration, the
yeah.
self-healing mechanisms, and it gets more and more, and then it has to be released. It has to
Mm,
explode, but step by step, please.
yeah,
And
step by step.
yeah, because otherwise it's not constructive, and we should
Yeah.
learn it step by step. But what I really wanted to say is we discussed some factors on the bodily level, on the physical level, that really support self-healing.
Mm,
If we understand the emotional level in this way, that emotions sign to needs, and we can start communicating about that, then the nonviolent communication is one of the most effective tools that I know on
yeah.
self-healing on the emotional level, um,
Mm,
to
beautiful.
facilitate self-healing on the emotional level.
Mm,
Now, if we use these tools on the emotional level and on the physical level, then the body and we can relax. If we don't take care of the body, we breathe not enough, we don't relax enough, we don't take good food, toxins get in the body, it's tension and it's
mm,
alarm in the system. Then our primitive brain is activated. If our emotions are not accepted and we cannot touch on the needs underneath and find solutions for them together, it's a lot of tension. The primitive brain is activated. If the primitive brain is activated, we are focused on the mental level on danger, on what's
mm,
not there, on limitations. And we think in a very rigid and limited way. And that does not help us to come out of the circle. Eh?
yeah,
If we
absolutely.
take care of the body and we take care of our needs together and we start communicating there, we can relax. And then the mental level starts to relax. The primitive brain feels more at
Mm,
ease. And then thoughts become naturally supportive for our blueprint. Then
mm,
we get inspiration how we can make things better together.
yeah.
And then the mind becomes a servant of the heart, and it becomes flexible. It's a tool. Thoughts that we believe in, that we focus on, are really creative powers, that we can use. But if we do not take good care and we live under too much stress, the mind becomes really unproductive.
Yeah,
It's just circling around on limitation, on what's not there, on pain, etc.
absolutely. Wow. Well, and we're almost at the end of the podcast.
Oh no, so
We
much
can, and
more
I have the
to
feeling we
tell.
can keep on talking for hours and hours. But it was beautiful to hear how you put the model that you described in the beginning of the podcast of the body, the emotions, the thoughts, the relationships, and the spirit, how it is all connected. And what I learned is you have to take care on every level to make
Yeah,
sure that your body is healthy, to make that you express your emotions, that your thoughts are clear, so you can build relations and express and be enthusiastic, being the God, you know.
yeah, my being the
So
God. But
yeah,
we cannot end this podcast without mentioning the level of the relationships
mm.
very shortly.
Yeah, please, short.
Because often, as a doctor, I call this the most underestimated factor of
Mm,
self-healing, our togetherness,
mm,
our, yeah, we are one
yeah,
together. And together in support groups, we can grow so much faster. And I was astonished as a doctor that there are hundreds of studies on social factors that show how important it is that we create a good climate in our family on all these levels,
mm,
in our organizations, in our society, because um, being together as humans, really paying attention to each other, supporting each other, is the most important factor that really gives meaning to life.
and I'm really happy you didn't want to end the podcast because this is such a beautiful message, Henk.
Yeah,
Just being together.
especially if you take time to think about our society is built on competition,
Mm,
on comparing people, on judging people from 1 to 10.
yeah,
It's not how it works.
mm,
People really become contributional if they can be themselves in a group.
yeah. And
And
really connect.
yeah, some people need support to make
Mm,
their first steps. Other people really build their self-worth in being an
mm,
inspiration to others. And so we level, like in outdoor experiences. You can only survive if you are a team.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Hank, I really am very grateful for this episode, this new episode, and thank you for your voice, for your wisdom, your inspiration that you
Mm.
have put out here. I'm sure many people will grab something out of it. So, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for listening to Studio Steen. If you want more inspiration, just go to my website studiosteen.com or go to the Spotify website, iTunes on inspirational leadership. You can also share this podcast with others who might benefit from listening to these inspirational talks. Thank you very much, great people.